If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide.
Welcome to Words and Wisdom, or welcome back, it's been a while.
It's been too long.
The podcast where we take the constraints of society's conditioning and break them down, or attempt to at least, and hopefully give you some tools and techniques to go away and deal with your trials and tribulations.
You remembered. This is the podcast where we claim to be no experts in any field other than a field of ourselves, and with that we aim to help you. Big love. What are we talking about today, mate?
So today, mate, we're going to be talking about falling into negative thinking patterns. You know, when you're feeling depressed and you're waking up in the morning, you almost like don't know why you're feeling like you are, but you're feeling run down, beat up, can't be bothered, demotivated, fatigued. And I want to kind of give people some takeaway tips to get back into feeling good, you know, the power of positive thinking, really. So yeah, I mean, I'll start by, because the reason I want to talk about this is it's been something that's been quite close to heart recently. Before I went on holiday, so maybe 3 weeks ago, for the months leading up to the holiday, I just felt depressed. I was very low. And by depressed, I don't mean, ooh, woe me. I mean depressurized, like depressed. I was depressurized. I had no pressure in me. I had no steam in me. Even though everything was going well, business was going well, workouts were going well. I have a bit of an injury, which kind of set me back slightly. But I was thinking, why am I feeling like this? Everything's going well. Good relationship. Something is not right. So I took a trip into magic mushrooms. And
Here we go.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird about it, though, is it wasn't... I didn't go out my way to find them. I feel with mushrooms, I've only had them twice, and it's not something that I'm going to continue to do like, you know, like you drink alcohol. For me, it's something that finds me. It's like the universe gives me all these signs and puts me in a position that's like, oh, why don't you get some of these? It's like, okay, let's try it. So anyway, I took them before I went on holiday. And the first time I took them, it was all happy and positive and love, and that's the position that I was in life. But this time, it was soul-wrenching pain. Soul-wrenching pain. It was very hurt. There was a lot of hurt that I wasn't... It's as if I'd bottled it all down. And the pain was like clients, problems and traumas, friends and family's traumas over the last year who have come to me for help, my own traumas that I've kind of pushed down so I can help everybody else. And it's as if the mushrooms brought them to the surface, and I was faced with my own demons and insecurities. And I remember crying, and it was like I couldn't stop crying. It was really hurting me. This pain was. But it made me realize I almost saw when I say saw, my eyes were closed, and I always go into my head rather than look visually. I prefer to know what's going on in here. And I saw or felt the energy of a parasite living in the house, which sounds bonkers, mate. But I saw this parasite in the house, and this parasite was all. You ever seen Rick and Morty?
Yes, many a time.
There's an episode of Rick and Morty where there's these parasites that they basically make people think that something's real, and then it becomes real.
They grow. Yeah,
and they grow. And it felt like I was every time that I was thinking negative, it was the parasite making me think negative. But when I saw the parasite, I was like, there it is again. The negative thinking disappeared, which made me realize that the negative thinking was never me. It was never Zach. It was never, woe me. It was something that I'd fallen into, maybe. Or you can imagine it as a parasite. You can imagine it as a computer software program that I'd repeatedly, the world's ending, COVID this, politics that, Boris Johnson this, and everybody that, and masks, and the more I'd thought negatively, I'd almost downloaded the program of negative thinking. So I wake up in the morning, and I turn on my windows, or I'd wake up, and I was feeling negative. I was like, why? Because I'd programmed that. So I had to reprogram. That. And it's weird because I didn't even realize I'd fell into it. You just kind of get into it, and before you know it, you're there, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, and crazy.
That is some good imagery right there. I love that metaphor. I'm going to use that for life. I think that's really cool, because a lot of people could do with, what are you feeding into the system? Have you got viruses in the system? How are you going to get rid of them? because you want your computer to operate as best you can. I've got a Mac, and as soon as you see that wheel that just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, I know that there's something in that Mac that needs to change. And how you just articulated that then was absolutely perfect, man.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit more then, because people might be thinking, well, how do I change my program, or how have I downloaded a virus? Well, here's how you download a virus, and here's how I downloaded a virus. I put all my attention on how the world is crumbling, first of all. So I'm looking into conspiracy theories, I'm looking at the news, I'm looking at Russell Brand, and I'm getting worked up about it, so I'm getting angry. So by doing so, I'm releasing chemicals into my body that are negative. Cortisol, stress hormone, adrenaline, stress. Everything was stress. And even it's like I was enjoying it. It's like, when you find something you really enjoy, like for you, it might be podcasts, music, and you get hooked on it and you start watching, listening more of it. And I was hooked on this stimulus of negativity, because I felt like I related to it. Yeah, the world's crumbling. Yeah. But I'd been downloading all their thoughts and beliefs, and I just felt shit for it. So what I had to do, obviously, was first of all become aware of that, and then start downloading a new program. So positive thinking, the power of positive thinking. I started to get back to my journaling again, my gratitude journal, before I go to bed. 3 things that I enjoyed or grateful for that day. I really feel it as well. Like someone said, imagine that. I think it was Liam, the Bros That Grow. He said, imagine how it would feel if you lost it. So, for example, my best friend Mikey, how would I feel if I lost him? Well, I'd be devastated. So I'm grateful that he's on this earth still, and I get to share that time with him. And I write down 3 things, which gets me in a more positive way of thinking immediately, and before I go to bed. So I've got more chance of waking up on a more clearer mindset. I also listen to affirmations as I'm sleeping, because as you fall to sleep, you've heard of people who they'll have foreign languages playing so that they can download it as they sleep. Well, I'll have affirmations. It's like, I am successful and I am powerful. And what I do is as I'm falling to sleep, I repeat every one that they're saying. So it's like, I am loved. And I'm like, yeah, in my head, I am loved. And I try to feel that emotion as I'm saying it. So if I am loved, what's it like to feel loved? Oh, cool. I am powerful. What's it like? Yeah, it feels good. I like feeling powerful. And then, so I'm trying to download that as I'm falling to sleep. That's the first step. The second step is, what am I taking in as soon as I wake up? Am I on social media? Am I getting angry? Am I getting jealous at other coaches and other people? Am I, oh, why is he posting that? Why is she looking like that? Or am I going onto YouTube? Or am I even just spending some time on myself and thinking again, what am I grateful for? You've got a good one, is wake up and have you got a toothache? If you haven't got a toothache, feel grateful for it, because how does it feel when your teeth are aching? It's not nice. So you've got to be thinking positive, because that's what's going to set your day in motion. If you wake up angry, looking at bad shit, listening to negative shit, you're going to feel negative. So,
mate, and to force that thought into your mind, like, have I got a toothache? It's not one that just comes to you. You really have to force that thought into your mind and sit on that and think about how it truthfully feels, because we all know that pain or backache's a big one, but because you've been there before, you can be empathic to that thought. You can truthfully get in the place of it. Now, how has it dramatically changed your life, your existence, your experiences in the day? Has it been very profound, or are you building up on this process at the minute?
I wouldn't say it's been profound. It's been very helpful.
Yeah.
It's helped me within the day to actually want to get shit done, to want to help people. But it is something that doesn't feel natural still. Like, when I'm thinking positive, or for example, 2 or 3 days ago, I fell straight back into negative thinking for 2 days straight, and I had to physically pull myself back out of it, because I was like, there I go again. Because it's not, positive thinking feels weird. I mean, if anyone's listening now, and you as well, Mikey, just start thinking positive thoughts. Like, first of all, what do I think? Well, I don't know. Let's think how much you love somebody. Well, it feels a bit weird. It's not natural, because our natural instinct is to look for negative, and we can explain that later.
But sort of programmed into us.
Well, it has,
subconsciously or through our unconscious programming. We've spoke about this a lot on the podcast, but media, different sources, yes. It's been plummeted in. But
why are they so successful with it? And there's a thought process, and from evolutionary people who
they want us to be driven by fear.
But yeah, definitely. But that's because we naturally, as human beings, we look for things that could kill us or harm us or negative things because we want to avoid those in the future. So is it helpful to remember positive things? Well, not really, to a degree. I mean, it's beneficial, but is it more beneficial to remember that that tiger's going to eat you,
Yeah.
or that plant's going to kill you, or that person's not to be trusted? So then our natural instinct is to look for those things and remember them, and that's why the media does so well with them, because if they post positive stuff, no one really cares. I mean, I post positive things on Instagram, and I might get 3 or 4 likes and 7 views.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas I post something negative, having a moan, everyone's
Yeah.
involved.
Strange, isn't it?
It's strange, but it's a natural.
Very understandable from what you described.
So that's why it feels unnatural.
I felt it in social circles. When somebody's bigging up somebody, you get on board for a few minutes and you're like, oh yeah, they're cool, aren't they? Second, it's a scandal or gossip or somebody saying something bad on somebody's premise. You go, oh yeah, and they did this and they did that. This is my previous state self. I know how much that's affected me in my psyche. I think, well, what are they saying about me when they're out there? But completely understand what
Also,
you're saying.
how do you feel when you're talking about that? You get yourself stressed because
the cortisol's back.
the cortisol's back. The brain doesn't know the difference between reality, something happening in front of us, and something that we're thinking, which is why you ever had a dream where your partner's cheating.
You want to punch him when
Wake
you wake
up in the
up.
morning, you're like, the fuck, you just, oh, it was a dream. Well,
Yeah.
that's because the brain is
Silly
no
old
idea.
brain.
Yeah. So when you're thinking negative thoughts, like, you like, I do it. Oh, I'm guilty for this. Driving about, someone pulls out in front of me, and I imagine myself getting out of the car and pulling them out the car and giving them a good seeing to. And before you know it, I'm already stressed. I'm angry, and I've ruined my day, all because I had a negative thought. So yeah, it is unnatural to think positive, but it's helpful. It's very, very helpful. It helps you. You know, it might be weird, and if you need to, like I do, download it through other people. Type in positive motivation for the day in YouTube. There's loads on there, and just like listen in a relaxed way. Don't listen trying to gain anything from it. Just put it on, maybe when you're walking, when you're exercising, or washing the pots, or brushing your teeth, or having a bath. Something that's just easy to do, you haven't got to think about, and just let it drift in. Because the conscious mind is the mind that's thinking all the time, trying to plan things, trying to figure things out. The subconscious mind is like a sponge that's just absorbing everything that we don't even know. So if you're listening to positive stuff, positive music, positive affirmations, positive videos, the subconscious will take hold of that, will use that, and will start to run that program in the background. It just might take some time.
I'll pick apart, go back to what you said a bit then, because I see a really important emphasis on self-awareness there. Because when you were waking up in the morning, you were taking on all this negativity. I'm sure there were times where you could have taken on a bit, or you've seen a Russell Brand here, just been interested enough to go, oh, I'll give this a listen. Right, that's cool. But then you get excited by it. The ego runs off and it wants to see more and more and more and more. And you just allowed it to. You know, what it is taking bits and bobs. And you know you've had that Russell Brand moment. Then you can go for your jog, or you go for your run and listen to them affirmations or more positive pieces of content. And that's something I've definitely started to implement more into my life, is this self-awareness of, right, I'm getting a bit aggy here, or I'm starting to feel a bit low mood. What am I taking in? Oh, right. And it could have been, like you said, I really like podcasts, but I've just been doing them all the time. And then I've got loads of edits to do. And this starts to build up in my mind. That's my fault. It's a lack of self-awareness of just saying yes to everybody. So you're perfectly described it with this system that we've got with this Windows or Mac or whatever it is. When you've overfueled it and you started to put too much, it'll alert you and say the storage is almost full. You've just got to be constantly aware of what you're giving into your machine.
Clearing out cookies.
Clearing out the cookies.
Because cookies are things that you just accept all the time, and you take them on, but then it builds up and it slows you down.
I think using the computer as a metaphor, there's so many different avenues and angles you can go by with the storage, with the viruses, with all them parts. You just got to be really clocking in with yourself again and going, what am I providing it? Oh, I want it to run as smooth as humanly possible. When I'm editing on Final Cut Pro, there's nothing worse than taking an hour for a clip to render. And then your productivity is all shut down then. I know if I don't have anything running in the background, if I don't have any viruses and the storage is only halfway done, I can do a whole project, a whole film without any interruption. That's where people need to get to.
And that's just like in life, isn't it? Because if you've not got anything running in the background and you know you're so focused on that one task, you'll get it done quicker and to a better quality.
I'm so glad you give me that metaphor, man. I'm going to run off of that. Get Chrissy to illustrate it later.
I think as well, it's like, because we've all been in positions before or places in life where we felt good for weeks and months and we had really productive time, and then it drops off and it's just part of the journey. But sometimes it's helpful to go, what was it that worked before? So for me, I was in a new relationship. We've nearly been together a year, Mikey, which is insane and cool. But yeah, so like through this last year, I've been enjoying the relationship. I've been enjoying sex more. I've been enjoying a bit of food, alcohol here and there, and going on holiday. But me and Chloe have both sat down and we said, okay, we've had a year of enjoying ourselves, and we've not really built much. In fact, we've both built ourselves as such, and my business has come on, but I've not got a lot to show for it right now, financially speaking, maybe. So we sat down and we said, okay, now it's time to grow. Like, we've had a year of playing. We need to get back to growing. So I'm back to the semen retention because I know it works. I'm back to my meditation and my praying because I know it works. I'm back to my journaling. I know it works. Cardio is, even if it's just a brisk walk, mate, every day. There's something that happens in the brain when you do cardio that makes you feel lighter. It makes you feel less stressed. It makes you feel more active and being able to think better. Resistance training's great, I think, for confidence, for strength, but it's more of I don't think it's something that happens in cardio that makes you clearer. Like, resistance training doesn't really make you clearer, I don't think. It hypes you up a little bit, whereas cardio just kind of chills you out and calms you down. So I've got back to what I know works is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes you have to do that. What is it that worked before? Okay, let's get back to that. And then before you know it, a week later, you're like, oh shit, yeah, it's as simple as that.
It really can be, can't it? I remember... of recent, not a perfect human by any means.
I'd say so.
We're getting there. and yeah, I reverted back to negative thinking and negative patterns for a while. And because I've got a bloody brilliant partner who just reminds you of them things when you seem a bit clouded, well, should we go to the gym? Went to the gym. We've started doing circuits now. And I remembered when I was 16, 17... hard boxing session, circuits, press up, boxing bag, and it was just really, you had no time to think. You had no time to be in your head. You just had to get on it. The time is going. And we had an hour's circuit session. The rest of the day was brilliant. Like, literally felt amazing. I could go and eat where I wanted to a certain extent, get them calories back in, and just felt absolutely brilliant. It only took my partner to give me that remembrance and reminder on what it helps, what changes that thought pattern. 100%, man.
I think this podcast, I think we've pretty much wrapped it up. A nice, short and sweet one, but I think this is so powerful for people to hear right now because of all the negativity that's in the news. We've got Boris Johnson talking about new lockdowns, and in fact, I want to mention that in a minute, but yeah, there's so much negativity everywhere we look, especially wherever we look, we'll find. So whether you look for positivity or negative, you'll find it. I think people need to hear this, and just, if you are struggling with negative thinking, you are struggling with feeling down, your first port of call to change is just to become aware of that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there it is again. Just acknowledge the thought. If you're thinking, oh, fucking people, acknowledge that thought. Oh, okay, I'm thinking that thought again. Don't look to try and change it right now. Just become aware of it. Then ask yourself the question, like, is it serving me? Is this thought of, oh, fucking people, they're doing my head in, get out of my space, is that serving you? Is it making you feel good or is it making you feel bad? Ask yourself the question, see what the answer is. And then from there, you'll know what to do to change it. Like, I haven't got to tell anybody what to do. Everybody already knows what they need to do. So yeah, I just think it's what people need to hear right now.
Right, and yeah, we'll wrap it up. I'll give a couple of ideas that have worked for me, and they can be as simple as smiling. I did that the other day at somebody. I was sort of very aware of how my face looked and what I was receiving back because of this negative thought pattern. So I just changed it by smiling at somebody. They smiled back instantly. I felt alive. So it can be that. It can be taking a second out and breathing. It's all just building. Your chest gets tighter.
Slowing that breathing down.
Breathe it out. So I'd say smiling, breathing, and talking. There's just a few ideas there that you can implement and try out.
Wicked. Well, guys, we hope that
What a
was
lovely
of,
podcast.
yeah, beautiful. I hope
that.
that was of some benefit to you guys listening. If you feel like it has benefited you, drop us the like and hit the share button. Share it with people that you feel might be struggling at the minute and who you think this might help. And thank you for listening.
What a pleasure. Be nice to one another. Peace.